Good morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. It is early morning. The kids are in school. Today I thought I would share with you my whole process from sourcing to shipping. My goal is to share as much detail as possible on how I run my business. If this is the first video of mine that you're watching, I recently quit my corporate job due to burnout, and I am now focusing on my reselling business. And yeah, this is what life looks like for me now. I source mainly at the bins, but I actually don't live close to the bins, so I try to dedicate sourcing days in the week. I think it also helps my schedule, and whenever I go, I try to just get as much as I can list for the week. I'm usually there like 3 hours, maybe 4 if it's a really good day, but I kind of just feel it out and see, you know, how the day is going. So yeah, today is sourcing day. I'm bringing my water. I leave that in the car. I don't bring any food or drinks in the bins. I think it's kind of gross. And then I just have my fanny pack. It has my wallet, some hand sanitizer, put my hair up when I'm at the bins, and then my keys, AirPods. Sometimes I will put my AirPods on. For the most part, no, because I like to hear what's going on around me. And then some wet ones. And then I bring a little lunch box with me that just has some snacks that I can eat in the car. Usually after my trip, I will, you know, wash my hands and just try to get a snack. After, I bring some apples, I bring an Alani, and I also bring like my big reusable bags. Sometimes I do have slow days at the bins, which is kind of frustrating because again, I have to drive pretty far to the bins. Not that far, like 45 minutes or so. Still, it's like 45 minutes each way. So it adds up, miles, all of that time. So when it's slow and I feel like I'm there for an hour and it's already slow, I'll just leave and I'll go to regular thrift stores around the area. I'm gonna cross my fingers that it's actually a good day at the bins today because again, I'm driving out and I like to keep my cost of goods as low as possible. And I have to get quite a lot because I didn't get much last week and my kid was out of school. Like, she didn't have school for like 2 days. So I really wasn't able to get as much done like work-wise when she was home. So now that she's back in school, I'm trying to get as much work done possible today and like the next few days of the week. So yeah, wish me luck. I'll see you guys when I get back from the bins. That's everything I got. As you can see, this bag is so full. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna count how many pieces I got. That way I can like divide my total, divide it by the number of pieces that I got from the store. And I try to do this right away when I get home. That way I can enter it into my expenses on Nifty. I use Nifty as my cross-listing tool. I also enter all of my expenses there because their analytics is actually really good. It helps me with taxes and just helps me see how I'm doing per week or per month. The profit and loss tab within Nifty is a really great overview of how your business is actually doing, how much money you're actually making minus all of your costs, like subscriptions. I will add there my costs for eBay store subscriptions, my Nifty subscription, all of the costs for supplies. So I will add it all in Nifty, and that way I can just keep track of my expenses versus what I'm actually bringing into the business. I'm so out of breath. I think it's the Alani, honestly. I think it's the Alani. Okay. I'm not gonna do a whole haul just because it's gonna be a super long video, but what I usually do is I'll count, and then as I'm counting, I'll also sort by things that need stain treating, things that are ready to list, things that need to be washed. Most of these things are gonna be washed. I like to wash the clothes from the bins just because I feel like it's gross, but some of them are new with tags, so I can't wash those. And then I also try and sort if it needs to be hand washed or just washed on delicate, like really delicate fabrics like cashmere, silk. And then I also got, I think, one thing for myself. So I'll separate that. And what I do when I get things for myself, and let me know if you guys do this, but after I divide like the total pieces by my total cost, I will then minus like the thing that I got for myself. So for example, if the average price per piece is like $1.03, which is my average, I will minus my total business expense by $1.03 to account for the piece that I kept for myself. So let's see, I spent $67.74. So let's see how many pieces we got. Okay, pause. I wasn't gonna do a haul, but I did wanna share, I think this is my best find today. This is a new with tags Farm Rio one-piece swimsuit. I'm so excited to find this because 1, it's Farm Rio, 2, it's new with tags, and 3, this is like the perfect season to be listing stuff like this. I was so excited to find this. Let's see how much it retailed for. This retailed for $195. Oh, I lost count. I freaking lost count. Okay. Shoot, I shouldn't have talked. Okay, we're gonna count again. Pause. Okay, I've sorted through my inventory and counted it twice. I have 53 items total. So what I'll do is I'll get my receipt again, get my laptop, and I'm gonna open up Nifty. And what I'll do is I'll just divide my total 67.74 divided by 53 items. So that makes my cost of goods per piece $1.28. So I'll go to Nifty, go to my expenses, add a new expense under inventory purchases. I'll add my total. So I did say that I got one piece for myself. I will minus $67.74 minus $1.28. I know that's ridiculous, but I want to be as exact as possible and like what am I actually spending on my business. So then that comes out to $66.46. I know that's ridiculous, but that's just what I do. I'm not an expert in any way. I'm just showing like how I run my business, and we all run our businesses differently, and that's fine. This has worked for me. I got a few comments on my last video asking what the heck the bins are. So the bins is basically, the bins is a Goodwill outlet, and they take out bins of clothes and you just pay by the pound. The price per pound on my location that I go to is $1.99 per pound. I know they also have like a Salvation Army outlet. At least in my area, what we have is the Goodwill outlet. And that's where I go to source for the most part. So I'll throw these in the wash, take a shower because I feel gross. And then next I'll show you how I steam and photograph each item. Welcome to the downstairs of our home. It's really our basement, but it doesn't feel like a basement to me. As you can see, we have windows here and a big sliding door. So because it's a walkout basement, it just doesn't feel like a basement to me. The natural light that comes in here is also so helpful for my photographing. So this is where I take most of my photos, and this is where I steam. You'll find in this video, I don't really have a dedicated space for my reselling business, but honestly, it works for me. Like, this is our downstairs living room. We have a big TV right here. This is where we will do like our movie nights as a family. And it's really helpful for me because while I'm steaming or photographing, I can watch a show or something. This area behind me, this corner really, is where I do most of my work. It's not a perfect setup, but it's worked really well for me, and I'm very thankful for the space that I have, and I'm just trying to make it work. Maybe one day I'll have a dedicated reselling space, but honestly, this works so well for where I'm at in life. I have this rack here that has all of the clothes that are ready to steam, photograph, and list. So I'll do things in batches. So I'll steam first, and then I'll photograph, and then I'll batch list. I got these wooden hangers off of Facebook Marketplace from a boutique that was closing. So I got this and these for like pants and shorts. I have different types of hangers here just because I'm trying to fit as much as I can in this rack so I can just list as much as possible, photograph as much as possible, steam as much as possible. But for my photos, this is the hanger that I use consistently, like the wooden ones, this and this one for the pants. And then moving over here, I have this big steamer. This is from Amazon. It's not the Jiffy, it's Salav. I don't know if I'm saying that right. This has been so helpful. My husband actually gifted this to me for Christmas. I know that seems weird, but I literally asked for it. I didn't want to spend my own money on like a professional steamer. I will say this has been a game changer for me. It has made me so much quicker with steaming. I used to use one of those travel like hand steamers and that worked, but I'm just always trying to find ways to be quicker with my processes because I feel like efficiency is key in this business. And I found that with those travel steamers, I just had to fill it up way too often. So I will actually open up this window here. And that way when I'm steaming, I can also see in natural light if there are any flaws. For some reason, no matter how much I try and look for flaws before I get them from the bins or from the thrift store, I still somehow miss flaws. So if you have any tips on how to avoid that, let me know. But that's the piece that I think really slows me down is I'll be on a roll steaming and photographing and then I'll see a flaw and then it'll just slow me down so much. So I think that's my biggest issue right now. All right, now I'm showing you this corner. I have all of this hiding behind the couches. I will move this if we have some friends over, but honestly, we don't have that many people over often. It's usually like my in-laws or my family and they know what I do. So I'll usually just keep it here. These are just all of the supplies that I need close to me when I'm steaming and photographing. I have my weighing scale, my SKU stickers. This is what I use to mark any flaws while I'm steaming and photographing. I have my poly mailers here that's where I keep all of my inventory. That's like trash. And then this is like a sewing box that I got from an estate sale. It's really messy right now, but it just has everything that I need when I'm photographing again, like I'm blanking on what this is called. I have that. I have some measuring tape. This one is so helpful for when I'm removing like loose thread. So I have that. I have some wipes and my fabric shaver over there. I think this is a 12 by 8 by 8 cardboard box. I'll show you how I store my inventory later. I'm actually switching up how I do my inventory. I'm moving to this system and it's been so much easier. Like I said, I'll usually turn on a show and then get to batch steaming and batch photographing. I've been rewatching Schitt's Creek just because it's a really good feel-good show that I need these days. And also because I've already watched it before, I don't feel the need to be super focused on it. I can just have it in the background and it just makes me laugh. So I think for this video, I'll just show you how I do one item and that way we can move on to my inventory system. I have this thing that allows me to hang up my phone. This just makes it so much quicker when I'm photographing. That way I don't have to place my phone down somewhere. And because my setup isn't, the best, this just makes it so I don't somehow lose my phone along the way. I will link everything that I'm using, by the way, down in the description box if you're interested. Also, just really quick, I did want to thank everybody who has subscribed and followed along my journey so far. I try not to look at my social media analytics often just because it does give me anxiety. It's very scary putting yourself out there on the internet, but I have just been honestly overwhelmed with the support that I've gotten from my first 2 videos. I just checked and I have 1,148 subscribers. Like, that's crazy. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me, especially since this journey is really scary. It's such a big change in my life, and honestly, it's a mind trip. This is so different from what I used to do in corporate. So having your guys' support, it means a lot. So thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I said that really quick. So anyways, I'm gonna move you to my photographing area. So I have these 2 umbrella lights. You can see that I do have like my kids' like play area here. One day that's not gonna be here, and then I can put a table or set a table here that has all of my supplies, and it'll make things so much easier. But right now it's there, and it's actually really nice because sometimes I'll just hang out here or on the couch while I'm photographing. This area is also near their room, so when they are home, they can just play, and if I need to take photos, like, I'm around them. So this is fine for me right now. It works really well for this stage in life. I will say they weren't playing with this until I told them that I was gonna sell it, and then all of a sudden now they're playing with it. So life with kids. Anyways, I will move this umbrella light if I need to, if they're like playing with this monkey bar thing. But I have 2 umbrella lights here, and then I also have this light, which has different modes. It has like this more cool tone mode, and then this is like slightly warmer, and then it just gets warmer and warmer, and then you can also adjust how bright it is. This is supposed to mimic natural light. This is actually from my brother-in-law, so I'm very thankful for family that supports my crazy ideas. Because yes, the steamer was from my husband, this one's from my brother-in-law, and this with a natural light has really leveled up my photos, I think. And it's probably a flaw, honestly. I put too much time trying to make my pictures perfect, and I know, I keep hearing other resellers say, like, just take the photos as quick as you can. You gotta work as fast as possible to get as many listings out the door. But I also just feel like having really nice photos helps with making a sale. So I do try to be as fast as possible, but I did really think about how to, make my pictures as nice as possible, especially since I don't do try-ons. I wanna make sure that my listings show as much detail as possible so that the buyer can really envision what this piece will look like on them. So I also just have this gold hook. I got that from Amazon that is on this wall, and that's where I hang all of my clothes. So let me actually get that. So I will just put that here. And then I have my yardstick right next to me so that I can also take measurements while I'm photographing. I have this mannequin that I got from Facebook Marketplace. This is actually not the stand for this exact mannequin, because this is like more of just a top mannequin, like for tops. It's not perfect because it doesn't have hips, but I just try to make it work. Now I will turn these on. I have my windows open and we will photograph. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve my processes too, please let me know. Like I said, I'm quite new to this, so I'm just showing you my process and how it works for me, but I know there are more seasoned resellers there, so definitely let me know. I will fold this as nice as possible because ideally I will not have to take this out of inventory after photographing. And then I will put it in my poly bag. What I hate is when I forget to take measurements and somebody asks for measurements and I have to take it out of inventory. It's just a lot of time. So I try to just do everything at once. That way I'm done with it. Okay, so now that it's in the poly bag, I will put my SKU number. Oop. I do use this infinite SKU system. So this is gonna be 1073. I put it here. I will take a photo of that so that when I'm listing, I know what the SKU number is. Take a photo of the SKU and the weight. And then I will put it in this box right here. I don't usually have to lift up the box to do this on a normal day, but I'm just trying to show you how it works. So then it's all in order, 1072, 1073. This is where I keep all of my inventory. This is a spare bedroom that we have that we actually turned into a gym. It's really messy right now because, yeah, we're like setting this big thing up. We decided to make this room a gym before I had this reselling business. So maybe if I knew that I was going to be doing this, I would have used this as like my reselling space, but it's actually nice. Again, like we've just made it work. As you can see, there's this big closet right there where I keep all of my inventory, which is really nice. Ideally, I can keep all of my inventory at home and don't have to get a storage unit because I like being able to just operate everything at home. Again, my goal is to be able to build this business around my family and versus not being at home all the time, working in a different area. Right now, I'm happy that, you know, my daughter can even help me pull inventory. So like I mentioned, I am transitioning to a different inventory system. I used to just have these clear bins. Well, I still do, but I'm moving out of this inventory system. But for the longest time, I have been using this like just labeled bins. So I have clear bins that just have labels on them. And then I have all of my inventory in here. And even when I was using this system, I still have like the SKU numbers in here. And so I just found myself thinking like, why the heck don't I just make this in order? And it will be so much easier for me to pull my orders versus having to dig through, you know, plastic bins like this. If you see those bins that are not transparent like this, those are the ones that I had when I first started. So everything in those bins, a lot of them are like really old inventory. So I just got this shelf right here. And now everything is in order. So this is 0955 to 0970 because this box starts from 0971. I hope I'm making sense, but it's all in order. So it's just been so much easier for me to pull orders this way. So I am in the process of taking everything out of these bins and moving them to those 12 by 8 by 8 cardboard boxes and putting them in order. It will take a lot of time, but I think it should be okay because I am already using those SKU stickers within these boxes. So I just have to take them all out and then put them in order. So in progress. This closet actually goes deep. So that's where, I don't know if you can tell, but that's where I keep like bags and shoes. So I'm very thankful that this is a pretty big closet where I can store more items in this shelf right here. So that's where all of the shoes and the bags go. So that is where I keep my inventory. And then the next bedroom is actually a guest bedroom. It's a bit of a mess right now, but this is also like my craft room. This is where I keep all of my sewing materials. I got into sewing last year too. And so this is really my sewing table, and I have a basket here of clothes that need mended. So like I said, I work all around the house. My inventory space is in a different room. My sewing space is in a different room. My photographing space is in a different room. So I'm kind of just all over the house, but it works for me. Lighting is really bad in this room, but this is also our guest room. And so I try not to put too much reselling stuff here. The one thing I do have is this big rack where I hang up all of my bulkier items. So jackets, really big dresses, they get hung up here. Ideally, I have a closet. I mean, I guess I can hang them up in the closet that I just showed you. Eventually, I will have a shelf in that closet that fits all of my new cardboard boxes. So I really won't have space for like big jackets. So this is where I keep all of that. I also have this closet actually that I might eventually put all of those jackets in, but I have all of my sewing fabric in here right now. It's a mess, so I'm not gonna show you. So there are definitely ways that I can improve, you know, my work space all over the house, but this is just how I've been operating so far, and it has worked really well. So I'm just continuing to improve things. Again, if you have any tips for me on how to improve my processes, definitely let me know. But next up will be listing, so I'll see you in my actual office. Okay, now we're in my office space. After I steam, photograph, I go here and I list all of my items. Again, I use Nifty to cross list. Because I have an iPhone and a MacBook, my photos just sync really quickly to my laptop, and then I can list from my computer. So I will just drag all my photos into Nifty. I actually utilize their AI listing tool. So I just generate the AI listing. It makes it really quick, and then I will just tweak accordingly. I also printed out like aesthetic keywords that I can use as tags. So I have different keywords that I can use depending on the style. So I just have this handy next to me whenever I'm listing, and that just makes the process so much quicker. So I usually aim for at least 10 listings a day. Sometimes when my kids are home, that doesn't happen, but that's the goal that I try and follow every day. This is also where I will ship my items. So when things sell, I will pull them from my inventory, bring them up here, and I have all of my packaging material here. So this is what my desk looks like. This is the label printer that I use. And then I also printed out custom stickers for my store. It just has my logo and thank you for your order. So I printed that using this label printer as well. And then I have this IKEA drawer. I think it's the Alex drawers. And I have like my tape here. This is where I keep all of my receipts. And these are poly mailers. I have the USPS poly mailer. This is for Depop and eBay orders. And then I have these bigger ones, I think 15 by 19, also for Depop and eBay. And then these smaller padded poly mailers for Poshmark. I also have this walking pad next to me that I need to use more often. This is where all of the listings and the shipping happens. So that is my whole process. I hope this video was helpful for you. Again, let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section, but thank you so much if you made it here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.